Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Thursday morning edition of the Mop. Is it Thursday already? How is that possible? It's crazy. Anyway, welcome. And what makes you uncomfortable? Does it say a lot about who you are inside as a person? Does it say a lot about your heart? Does it say a lot about your soul? What amazes me is the Watertown board, the city of Watertown, or the school board, one of them, has cut a musical piece or a music piece from the band concert, has no words. There are no words to it. It's just music. But because it's focused around a LGBTQ person, they have cut it and said, no, you will not play that ever. Have we really gotten to that point in America? Have we gotten to the point of where it's okay to be you until it hurts my feelings, or until I interpret what your life should be about? Has it gotten to that point? See, I keep hearing about the issues of, well, men using girls' bathrooms and getting caught there, and, you know, God, we can't have that. And then men and women's sports, but women can play men's. I don't know. I have never experienced it. I've gone to Miller Park, or now AmFam Field. I've gone to Lambeau. I've gone to high schools, shopping centers. Not once have I ever looked over and all of a sudden there's a man dressed as a lady, or whatever you want to call it. Nor have I ever had my children go in to use the restroom and say, hey, Dad, there was a guy in there. It was kind of like when we were talking about that all these children are identifying as animals, and they're having to put, you know, litter boxes in the bathrooms and servicing, you know, giving whatever. I remember back in high school that kids wore dog leashes because of the spiked collars and things. It didn't make them a dog, nor did they believe in it. I remember people dressing out totally in black, believing in the goth whole thing. Yeah. And then people started putting big gauges in their ears and piercing their noses and tongues and whatever. But have we gotten to the point to where just the letters LGBTQ are scaring you? Are you worried? Are you, oh my gosh, Chris, it's a song with no lyrics in Watertown. But because the board found it's going to be offensive. Do you know when you go to a band concert for school, I hear songs from Africa to wherever. I mean, they used to play all kinds of things. I never knew the meaning of any of the songs. They even gave you the name so you could probably look it up. But the guy having a shit fit about it is in his late 60s by the look of the picture, and he's all pissed off. You can tell that he's pointing the finger and all that stuff, and how dare we play music like that? Music like that. How dare we allow people to live like that? It's kind of funny how you hear that from politicians and everywhere else and then people use that against the other side. Well, you believe that, obviously, then you believe that men should be allowed in the women's bathroom. No. No, I don't. But I've never had the issue where my kids come out and said that they had that issue going on either. Where all of a sudden my little girls were, what about this? I was always outside the door, waiting for my daughters to come out. I would have seen somebody go in the bathroom if I was a little worried about it. And then we're worried about men playing in female sports. It's weird. But I've never experienced that, so that must be in bigger cultures or bigger schools or something. I don't know. Riley Gaines had her whole big moment of fame because she was in 5th place or whatever and got beat by somebody. I don't see where these people are dominating the sport. Yes, I saw one picture of a male athlete or playing basketball at some JV junior college sport against girls, and he supposedly was scoring points and nobody thought it was fair because he was, I was at UW when I had my stroke, and I was laying in bed, and of course, being as tall as I am, they have to put bed extenders on. And I looked up, and yep, what do you know? There was a guy dressed as a full nurse as a nursing assistant, as I'm guessing, but in the whole white outfit, had everything, providing care for me. Yeah, I woke up and it was a shock because my brain finally registered what was going on. But they were there to do a job. Are we really to that point where we get worried about LGBTQ and, oh my gosh, women marrying women and men marrying men? And are we to the point of that just we can't allow that? I have a daughter that's married to one of the nicest girls I'll ever know. And I'm okay with it. As long as my daughter's happy, so be it. Well, Chris, she's going to go to hell, right? No, I don't. I believe what I believe. And from what I've been taught is where I believe I will be going to heaven. But if you look at how many different religions there are in the United States that try to interpret the Bible and who's going where, and then you look at a lot of those that are leading churches are the ones that they find out that are embezzling or they're having inappropriate relationships with minors or they're having affairs. Oh, what about them? Do you have just as big a problem? See, that's where I'm having a problem with this whole president thing right now, is because people are bringing up, well, here's this and this. We haven't handled the Epstein files yet, because now I think people just think it's a joke and that we have many, many survivors that have gone through a living hell that we haven't taken care of. And yet we're now at $4.40 or 50 cents a gallon for gas. That wasn't near that before. We've started a war that we weren't supposed to start. Well, Chris, that's because we're trying to help, because Iran's been... Okay. There's a whole shitload of tribes and stuff in Africa that aren't nice to people. Do we go there next? What do we do? As Americans, we seem to get involved with things and we want to try to change the way of the world. It's kind of like people get pissed off at the DNR because they come up with some harebrained ideas about turkey populations and deer populations, and everybody laughs about the CWD thing. And I don't know about CWD. I don't know if it transfers to other people. I didn't go to school for that. I'm a salesperson. So when I hear there is a DNR agent or a wildlife biologist that says, here's what's happening and here's how it's being passed, I tend to believe them. I tend to believe that this stuff goes on because, yes, biologists said it or because scientists say it. We have a businessman that has a cabinet full of riffraff. We even have a health director that is admitted to snorting cocaine off toilet seats. And it's okay for them all to have positions. We have a felon for a presidency, for a president. And yet we keep going back to past things and try to explain and try to justify the actions of the current administration. Well, if they wouldn't have done this, if they wouldn't have done this. Yeah. Then we have some people that believe we never really went to the moon. That it was just staged, that it was just pictures of things. We have people that believe that certain things don't exist. We have people laughing at COVID because they feel it was all a hoax. That it was just, it's the common cold. I had COVID. It wasn't the damn common cold. Yep, the second time I had it, it was. Now we have people that are believing they're having their strokes and everything else because of the vaccines. We have people that don't want to take the measles vaccines. And we have measles popping up. Weird. Who would have thought? What does it take? What's it going to take? I think it's going to take a damn miracle to have the government even looked at as a respectable force. And then we keep always saying how broke we are, but now we're painting the pool, or the whatever they call that now, we're painting it blue so it looks better for the 250th anniversary. Where are we finding all this money? So at what point does any of this make sense? At what point do you sit back and go, well, that doesn't bother me, but this does? Now, that waste of money, him golfing and stuff, he's got to do that, Chris. He's got to be out and meeting and greeting, and he's not meeting and greeting anybody. Where does the fraud and stuff in your mind, so if you believe he is the greatest president ever, which there are quite a few that do, at what point in your life do you go, boy, this shit doesn't make sense? Or what he's spewing out of his mouth doesn't make sense. But yet, you have problems with hardworking Americans and hardworking immigrants keeping this country going around. Whether they're gay, straight, Mick, I don't care. If they're here in this country and they're breathing and they're working and contributing, isn't that enough for you? Or do you still have hatred for some other reason? Because they have pink hair, or they don't like you. When was the last time somebody that liked the other side, that was gay or whatever, hit on you or made you feel so uncomfortable? At what point did they develop this hatred from you? It's kind of like the R word. The R word pisses me off because they were referring to people with handicap disabilities. So if you use the R word, which I'm going to say it right here, just in case some of you don't know what the R word is, but you should. If you use the word retarded to describe anything, you are one of those people that I don't care for, because you are using that word to put down somebody. And yep, I know. It's been going on forever, Chris. It's just how it is. See, we will never change. I used to do a lot of stupid shit when I was younger. I loved to drive fast. Yep, and I used to like to drink a lot. It was a lot of fun. I had a good time. That's what also is weird, is that I am now 51, going to be 52 in June, and if I drink like we did at state bowling tournament, One night is enough, or two. I don't need to do it the rest of the year. Before, when I was in my 20s and 30s, shit, every night of the week was fun. But I also had enough to respect people, to respect who they were. So what makes you really uncomfortable? And then look back at, if that really makes you uncomfortable, is it something that should? Or is it just because of who you are and where you're going and what you believe in? Do you believe that same-sex marriage and everything else deserves the same rights as if I marry a lady? Or a lady marries a man? Do they belong? But they're okay, because in God's eyes, they're good. But you're taking the law in your hand. See, I've always been told there's only going to be one judge and juror. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to be the jury. I'm here to make sure that anybody on this continent right now deserves the best, as long as they are good human beings, as long as they leave people alone, as long as they're not pushing their beliefs. See, that's the other thing with Christians. And that's a lot of times why Christians, to me, get on my nerves. Because they want to push their beliefs on other people. They want to push that you can't do this, you can't do that, or that's a choice I'll make, ma'am. Thank you very much. Or sir. See, I read the Bible differently. If Jesus went through the world and just treated everybody the way he got treated, imagine what the world would be like. It's interesting to me. He fed, he healed, he took care of many people that were absolutely awful to him. But I think that's how we need to treat people, is we need to treat people with open arms versus open arms until I see this, as far as LGBTQ and stuff goes. Everybody deserves a shot to make it in the United States. That's the problem with a lot of people thinking about the illegal alien. You know, I don't like the term illegal aliens either, or immigrants. Illegal immigrants. They're not here, so I guess they're illegal that way. But we tend to put illegal aliens like they're some kind of freaky people. But they're not. They're busting their ass doing jobs that a lot of us would never do. I don't think there's a lot of them living in the environments that they do that we would say, oh, that's really good. That sounds like a good plan. I'll go bust my ass and live in a shitty house or wherever and be taken advantage of. They pay taxes, they do all that, but they don't get any of the benefit, no matter what you're told. You know, I guess that's the other thing, is we listen to a lot of people and then we develop our opinions over that. So that's where I'm at today. What really pisses you off? By the way, if you're really rude to people, I lost a band teacher a couple weeks ago, and there were some people that said a lot of hurtful things to him over his times. He had a lung transplant. He battled. He battled a lot. There were some people that were quite rude to him because of what he believed in, because he believed in the goodness should be rewarded. And he didn't like this current administration either. And there were a lot of right-wing people that were awful to him. I wonder when he passes, do you go, boy, I wish I wouldn't have said that. I wish I'd have said I'm sorry to him. Or I wish I could have had him forgive me for how rude I was. Or are you so embedded in your belief that you don't care about the human being? Enjoy the sun today. It's just my viewpoints today. It is what it is. You can scroll on by. You don't have to listen. But what I'm telling you is open your heart up. Reward the kind. Be just kind to people. Open your heart up to it to be kind. Bless somebody that you know is struggling. And again, it's not financially that you can bless people with. Just emotionally. Just being nice to people. You don't have to be that dreaded person and where they look at it and go, oh God, there he is. Kind of thing. Just be kind. Take time to bless somebody today. And I will talk to you tomorrow morning after another evening, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully this weather stays so I can get my deck done. But we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.